Upon clicking on this video, you might ask yourself, what can I learn from a man that was at one point the most terrifying man on the planet, arrested 38 times by the time he was 13, and a tiger owner? Actually, you can learn much more than you think. You might think that Mike Tyson was this uneducated warrior gladiator, but Mike would spend massive amounts of time studying history's conquerors and greats to mirror them inside of his fighting style. He would emulate their philosophies inside of the heavyweight division, but more importantly, inside of his opponents' minds.
This fight to him, I was going to rip his heart out. I'm the best ever. I'm the most brutal and vicious and most ruthless champion there's ever been. There's no one can stop me. Lynx is a conqueror. No, I'm Alexander. He's no Alexander. I'm the best ever. There's never been anybody as ruthless. I'm Sonny Liston. I'm Jack Dempsey. There's no one like me. I'm from Nairclaw. There's no one that can match me. My style is impetuous. My defense is impregnable. And I'm just ferocious. I want your heart. I want to eat his children. Praise be to Allah.
He would study conquerors like Genghis Khan, Napoleon, Alexander the Great, and many more, and use their military and political philosophies in a ring that seemed so different. That's because it doesn't matter if one is a boxer and another one is a conqueror. They're both greats. The same way that a CEO can get valuable lessons from the best tennis player in the world, all greats have things in common. To be among the very best at anything in the world, you need a specific set of characteristics. And because of this, it's wrong to think that you need to figure everything out on your own. The knowledge that greats acquired over all of their lifetimes is available to you. If you have on hand biographies of greats in every field like Kobe Bryant, Genghis Khan, John D. Rockefeller, Steve Jobs, etc., then use them. Learn what made them great in their respective fields, and use the fact that you have these resources to your advantage. You don't have to live their whole lifetime to collect the knowledge that they did. You can simply study it. Find out what characteristics made them so great at their own craft and apply it to your own, something which you clearly care about since you're watching this video. A study was conducted tying a spring to the back of a starving rat and putting cheese in front of it to measure the force with which it pulled. Evidently, the rat wanted the cheese, so it pulled hard. But then, the experiment was rerun. This time, on top of placing the smell of cheese in front of the rat, the smell of a cat was placed behind it. And what happened? The rat started pulling much harder than when it simply wanted the cheese. Even when the rat was starving and there was cheese in front of it, it didn't pull as hard as when it sensed that there was danger behind him. But you're probably thinking, Nibble, what the fuck does this have to do with Mike Tyson? The rat is pulling harder away from failure than towards success. And that's because everyone wants to be successful. Not everyone is terrified by the fear of living an average life. Some people just see the cheese, they just see the money, they just see the nice car, but other people see the cat. They see the laying down in their deathbed, being 80 years old and knowing they wasted their potential. They wasted their life, and they didn't do anything that they know they could have done. And dying with regret being the only thing on their mind. You don't feel like doing the work you need to do? Maybe the smell of the cat doesn't bother you as much as it bothers someone else. Maybe having an average existence doesn't bother you that much, but if it does, then use it to your advantage. Use it as the cat to pull harder towards success. It's impossible to be immune to fear. Fear is ingrained into your mind to avoid danger. So, if you can't get rid of it, simply channel it and use it to your advantage. Constantly remind myself of being an 80-year-old man, thinking about the life I lived, and knowing I wasted my potential. Knowing I lived a mediocre life when I had the potential to be so much greater and influence so many people. And that thought of being average motivates me much more and pushes me much harder than simply wanting to be great. Mike Tyson in 1990 was at a point in his career where he felt invincible. It got to the point that when he had 38 wins and no losses, he would barely train for his fights because he thought there was no way that anyone could beat him. But that same way of thinking led to this. That feeling of invincibility came from those days after days of determination and effort. Those runs at 4 AM when no one was watching him. And when he stopped training like that, he just wasn't the same fighter. So if a certain work ethic got you a specific amount of money, or a certain study routine got you a specific grade, don't expect to have the same result with a different amount of work. Don't forget that what got you to that situation was the work itself. And to maintain that same situation, you need to work at that rate or you'll get knocked out by reality. Cus D'Amato, Mike Tyson's trainer and father figure, said that boxing is 90% mental and 10% punches. And this is like everything. It's much easier to excel at whatever you choose to do in life if your mind is right and prepared for it. You can be more talented than me in running and do it to make a living. But if my sole obsession in my existence is to be the best runner this world has ever fucking seen, then I'm going to be better than you. If I want it that bad, I'll pay attention to every single minute detail, and eventually you can't compete. So I hope these lessons from Mike Tyson were valuable to you in any sort of way. apart from the cocaine and tigers. And as always, stay strong, brothers.